everybody, welcome back to Cribs and Ribs. Today we're doing a real crowd pleaser. We're doing smoked chicken wings on the pellet grill. If you like this type of content, maybe a little bit of real estate tidbits, go ahead and hit that subscribe button anyways and ring that bell so that you won't miss any future content. Let's go ahead and get started. If you want to save a little time, you can always get the pre-separated wings. We're going to go ahead and fabricate these wings from whole here. This might seem like a little bit of a daunting task, but it's really pretty easy. Separating these wings is no big deal, everybody. You're going to want to get rid of these wing tips. The easiest way to do it, you can kind of feel that little knuckle right there with your thumb. Get you a nice sharp knife, and it'll slice right through. And same sort of a thing, you can find that big round bone in between the drum, right there. In between the drum and the flat. You want to go just to the flat side. All right, now slice through pretty easy. Pretty simple. At this point, you're going to want to get some marinade on these. Marinade will add a little bit of flavor, and the vinegar and acid in the marinade will kind of start to break it down a little bit. You can use any store-bought marinade, whatever flavor profile floats your boat. Or if you don't have a store-bought marinade, it's pretty easy to throw one together. Let's go on ahead and get to it. We're only going to need about a cup of marinade. To put together a quick marinade, just remember you need to put in the 4 S's. Salt, sugar, spice, and smells, aka aromatics. So for salt, spice, and smells, I've got here about 2 teaspoons of salt, about 1.5 teaspoons of ginger for my spice, and for my aromatics, I'm going to be using a small handful of fresh basil and a couple cloves of garlic. As far as liquid in our marinade, we want to get a good amount of acid in there. So I'm going to do the juice from this lemon, juice from this lime. For your limes, everybody, you want to kind of push on those and roll them around before you cut them. Make it a lot easier to juice. And a little bit of white vinegar to round it out. When you're juicing that citrus fruit, everybody, make sure you don't get any seeds in there, because we're going to blend this up. All right, that amount of citrus juice in there, we're going to match with water. There you go. See, this does not have to be exact. We're going to do a sprinkle of some white vinegar in there. And there's our 1 cup line. We're just going to get this the rest of the way with a little bit of olive oil to improve the texture. Kind of help it, some of the seasonings stick to the chicken. The acid in our marinade here is going to kind of start to break down the proteins in the chicken a little bit and make that nice and tender. Forgot to put some sugar in there. Almost forgot one of my 4 S's, people. We don't need a lot of sugar, but I'm going to use maple syrup. I like to use liquids as much as possible for these marinades. But you can use white sugar if you like. All right, didn't put a lot in there, just a little drizzle, just to add a little bit of sweetness. Now we're going to go on ahead and blend this up. Okay, let's check this marinade out. Oh, it's nice and fragrant. You can smell the garlic, you can smell the basil, the citrus juice, the ginger. It's definitely all there, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and toss these wings here in a nice Ziploc bag. Everybody, you're going to want to marinate these for at least an hour, but you really don't need to do it any more than 3 hours. Any more than 3 hours and that marinade is just going to dominate your flavor, which is not exactly what we're looking for. And then we're just going to toss this together real good. Let that sit in the fridge for about an hour, and then we'll put it on the smoker. All right, these have been marinating for about an hour and a half. So one thing I like to do is I like to cook them on these bacon racks. I put them upside down, that way I can turn around in the smoker. If your smoker's anything like mine, there's some hot spots. This way I can move them around about every 20 minutes or so, just to make sure we get as even a cook as possible. I'm going to put the flats on one side and I'm going to put the drums on another side. Mostly just because I'm going to season these a little bit differently. I know. I put marinade on there. What seasoning's left? Marinade's going to get some seasoning deep into the meat, but also we want to put a little bit on top. That marinade smells great, as usual. That basil really smells incredible. Doesn't have to be perfect, but again, if you have the largest ones kind of to one side and the smaller ones to another side, you'll have a little bit more control on how evenly this cooks. Now before you put any rub on these, Let's get some paper towels and just pat them down just a little bit, just take off a little bit of that extra marinade. Use your favorite barbecue rub. You can even mix some up at home. Little paprika, little brown sugar, little salt, little onion powder. Voila, you're good to go. I'm using this Poultrygeist on the flats right here, everybody. This is Scary Good Chicken Rub from Primetime Seasonings. You don't need to go crazy because you don't want to over season these wings. They're not very big. We're just going to give these a small dusting there. It'll make the skin extra flavorful and give it a little bit of texture as well. Now we're going to flip those over and get it one more time on the other side. But as you can see, there's not a ton of rub on these things, everybody. You just need a little bit. If you put too much on, it's going to make them too salty. It doesn't have to be like perfectly evenly coated or anything. Just a little extra seasoning to add some texture and some flavor to that skin. For the drums, everybody, I'm using this Reaper seasoning from Blazing Star. This is a local veteran-owned company. Man, this guy makes some great seasonings. I highly recommend you go to BlazingStarBBQ.com and take a look at the different items that my man's put up there. So I like it a little spicy. I'm gonna go a little more liberally. And we're gonna flip that over and get the other side. Oh, the smell of the marinade with the smell of the seasoning. These are gonna be some delicious wings. We're gonna get some smoke on these things and it is gonna be delicious. If you ever see any of the Hot Ones rip-off show that I do on Cribs and Ribs, this is exactly how I make these wings. All right, and these are ready for the smoker. All right, everybody, I got that pellet grill set at 350. It is a bright and beautiful day here in sunny Las Vegas. We get plenty of these. If you'd like to own a little piece of it for yourself, I would love to be your realtor. Either give me a call, text, or email, and we'll chat soon. I'll show you how you can win in today's market, whether you want to buy a home to live in or even investment property. Give me a call, everybody. All right, let's go ahead and pop these in. So the hot part of my pellet grill is right around that top left area. So I'm going to put the drums here on the top rack to kind of keep them away from that. And I'll put the flats here towards the back. So this way I can come out about every, 25, 30 minutes or so, move the racks around if I need to. About 40 minutes I'm going to flip the wings over and finish them off on the other side. This has been in here for about 25 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and turn these. As you can see, it's starting to brown up a little bit. Just going to move these around just a little bit just to make sure we get a nice even cook. So you can see we're getting a little bit browner over here than we are over here. Same with this. I'm just going to spin this around. So these have been in here for about a total of 45 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pull these out and flip them over here just to make sure we're getting them cooked nice and even there. All right, be real careful when you start to turn these, everybody. You don't want the skin to pull off on these racks. But you can see these racks make it nice and easy.
That looks delicious.
Oh, it will be delicious. Now these flats, this is the part where that skin can get a little stuck, so you want to make sure you slide your tongs under there real well because you really don't want that to stick onto the rack. I'm going to come out here in another 20 just to turn them around again, just to, again, make sure I get that nice even cook. Chicken wings aren't rocket science for everybody. You can kind of look at them and tell if they're ready. And these look nice and extra crispy. That's just how I like them. Let's go ahead and put it to the test. I'm going to try one of these Reaper drums. Between the marinade and the smoke and the rub, you don't even need any dipping sauces with these. These are definitely nice and spicy from that Reaper rub. But by the time you cook it, a lot of that heat cooks right out. They're deliciously smoky. The skin is so bright through that it's almost non-existent. Delicious. That's really good. These really came out perfect. Okay, let's check out one of these flats. Now that they're done, those bones will pull apart nice and easy. As you can see, Nice and cooked inside. These have that Poultrygeist Scary Good chicken rub on there from Primetime Seasonings. Man, that is scary good. You know, I'll take smoked wings over fried wings any day of the week. I still love some fried wings, don't get me wrong. But the smoked wings is a great way to have them where you really don't need any sauces to toss it in. We don't need anything to dip it in. Everybody, please, if you'd be so kind, hit like, hit that subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and ring that bell because you don't want to miss anything spicy. If you or anyone you know is considering a move to or from Southern Nevada, I would love to be your realtor. Follow Cribs and Ribs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.